Titles, go.
Invisible fact checker.
You touched your horn.
The Disenchanted Voice.
Fresh out of cake.
TumbleWeave.
Electric clarinet.
Handsome Squidward.
My neighbor, Bogart.
All right, let's do this.
Warning. What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Geek Pod. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm Hugh.
Corbs.
I'm Jack.
Guys, it's got you geeked.
Well, I had to really think about it to find something that has me geeked this week. I guess I'm geeked that our stairway's almost done. I haven't sent you guys the final picture yet, but it's been a ongoing 3-week project. The first week we built the steps. Well, actually, the first week I tore down the old platform and steps, and we built the new steps. Second week we built the railings, which are rock solid and really nice. A way better job on the railings than the steps, because if you saw for the picture, the steps are a little not uneven, but they're not level because the porch isn't level, and I couldn't figure out how to get it level one way without there being a lip. It was all fucked up. But we got that done. Now, this past Friday, we went and bought a bunch of concrete, and we bought a concrete mold. I don't know if you've seen these, but it's like 2 feet by 2 feet and has a bunch of like holes for like, you know, it's like different shaped rocks as if you put down rocks in a pathway, and mixed about 300 pounds of concrete, had to dye it black. And let me tell you something, anybody who thinks mixing concrete is not a full body workout, they are definitely mistaken, because, oh my God, even like my leg muscles up near my balls hurt. Like everything. Every single thing from the neck down hurt the next day. I just couldn't believe it. It takes your whole body to stir that shit. But we got that all laid down and it cured. And then last night we put down, I forget what this stuff's called. It's something sand. But what it is, it's I picked the tan color, and it's like the sand, and you dump it on there and you kind of sweep it into all the cracks because there's gaps between the rocks, and you build it all up, use the mold to push it down, kind of pack it in, put more on, and then sweep it off the rocks, and then you wet it down. And over the course of 48 hours, that like hardens into concrete. It's kind of like grout. So we've got black stones with tan grout. It looks fucking fantastic. Like
Awesome.
This thing looks better overall, the entire project, than I thought it would. And Damara and I seem to be able to do just about anything. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be a clusterfuck all the way through. This project, I mean, I'm not going to say it was easy. There were some parts that were very painful, but for the most part, everything went the way it was supposed to. I'm like waiting for the other shoe to drop. We're like done, and I'm waiting for the steps to fall off or all the rocks to come loose or something, because this was just too easy.
Good. I'm glad
That's
that worked
awesome.
That's what I got.
Awesome.
So same with Hugh, more house project as well. Like you can never feel like when you get something done, it's like what Hugh says. You're like, I'm waiting for this to fall apart because like it was too easy and all that. But no, I'm very excited. My house is coming together really well too. And as I showed you guys a couple weeks ago, my 3-season room is done. It's awesome. So I was like, I really want to put like some wall art out. So I was like, what can I do? I don't know what to do. I moved into my house 6 years ago, and on the back of my house was this black steel eagle. So I was like, what is this? So I asked one of my coworkers, apparently in the 60s, it says 1962 on it. People, when they bought their houses and they paid them off when they cost like $5,000, when houses nowadays cost more than $300,000, houses were so cheap back then. Now houses are so expensive. That's my analogy. So when they bought their houses, they would pay off their houses and they would put one of these eagles on the back of their house, which I don't know why. So I saw this eagle and I was like, I really like this. Emily's like, what do you want to do with it? I'm like, you know what? Being an Eagles fan, I want to paint it old school Eagles colors. So let the pictures load up. I sent you guys the pictures. So she painted this the 1980s Eagles colors. So I was very excited. And then I have it hanging in my 3-season room. So guys, if you check this out, check your phones out. This is pretty cool stuff. So when you're in my 3-season room, you look up above and you have this eagle, and it's so amazing. I love how this came out.
It's really well done, painted too. And
oh my God,
you guys will be able to see this, as it's happening in the show. After we have the magic of editing, it'll probably be like right there in the center,
or on my face, right?
Oh, thank you.
Yep. Put it there and have it like going after my cat.
Right.
But it's just like the little things. Like my neighbors, they're like, "Oh wow, you're doing so many nice things with your house." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what you do."
Like that?
Well, I'm giving them that kind of voice. They talk like this. Yeah, so I'm gonna make sure they talk like this in this.
Who's your neighbor? Humphrey Bogart?
Yes, your house is in bad shape there. No, I'm like, yeah, but like, no, like these guys, like they think they can mow like once a month and their house is in good shape. I'm like literally my neighbor, no joke, he mowed half his yard. He's like, fuck, I'm gonna go get a beer. He goes and gets a beer. It's like, okay, don't blame you, but get the fucking project done. But then he goes and gets a beer. No, all right. But what's got me geeked, like I said, Paul will share it with you guys, is this eagle, and it's just amazing. Just I'm impressed. So more house projects.
Not bad. Not bad at all. I dig it. Corbs.
Well, I ain't got much. I got something that's got me kind of tweaked a little bit. It happened last Thursday, I think it was. Was it last Thursday?
Missed out on tickets.
For what?
Handsome Squidward.
No. What's handsome Squidward?
That's what that Matt Rife guy looks like.
Oh,
You guys, have you ever seen the episode of SpongeBob where whatever, I don't even know what happened, but Squidward is all of a sudden handsome.
Yes.
And they do that whole, he's got like chiseled features and stuff, and that's what I thought of when I saw this fucking jack off that everybody's dying for.
Yes, there's.
I thought this was Corb's favorite band, Handsome Squidward.
They play some good music.
What with the clarinet, yeah.
The electric clarinet.
Very true.
So I don't know if it was. I think it was last week. If not last week, it was 2 Thursdays ago. I was driving over to Kelly's on Thursday night for date night. Coming up Military Circle, heading towards Teal Ave, where Midler comes into 7th North, I think it is, or whatever that road. Yeah, it's where they pulls in, and you can go up to like the Speedway, and you can go left, and you can go towards Teal Ave and all that stuff. So I'm driving up, and I can see this Ford Explorer coming off of Midler, heading for the road, and you merge in and all that stuff, but they have a yield. And I'm driving along, can see they're not going to yield, so I slow down just a little bit, hoping that they'll stop. Nah, they don't stop. Don't even blow right through the yield sign, so I honk my horn. Which, hey, Disenchanted Voice, go the fuck away.
Ooh.
I'm making sure that the story's authentic.
I honked the horn. He's saying I laid on the horn.
Laid on the horn. Got it.
Okay, so I laid on the horn. Long, we'll determine later. It wasn't that long, but besides it. So I honked the horn. Okay. One of the girls in the back seat hangs out the window and is yelling at me.
Perfect.
So I'm like, whatever. You're in the wrong, but of course, you are. Not being a non-minority in this story, I'm in the wrong. So I pull up to the light to head towards Teal Ave because I go up there to turn left to go down to where Kelly lives. And sure enough, they're in the car in front of me.
Of course they are.
And now two people proceed to get out of the car and are cursing at me from their car. Like I'm the one in the wrong.
Because you touched your horn.
Right. and they're yelling and screaming. The light turns green. They're still yelling and screaming at me. I'm like,
At one point, they tried to open their trunk.
right. So I didn't see it, but apparently they tried to open their trunk.
Yeah, you were looking at your phone.
So I was texting Kelly to let her know we were almost there. But I had actually held my phone up to a point where looked like I was taking a picture of the back of their car with their license plate and all that stuff. But of course they're, and they're not teenagers, they're young adults. But of course they're standing out next to the car in traffic, yelling and screaming and all this stuff. And I just was like, okay, you guys can go now. Like,
wait, are you like stuck behind them and they're like
Yes.
just stopped in the middle of traffic?
yes.
Perfect.
So yeah, that was Thursday night. So one with either last Thursday or 2 Thursday. I think it was last Thursday or whatever it was. But yeah, so that kind of tweaked me for a while. Actually,
Wait, what happened next? They're like out of their car yelling
well,
at you.
they finally got back in the car and left. Nothing happened,
Oh.
but it was just like,
No, I did see them again.
Because I didn't read in the news,
yeah, white man
anything about
kills.
this. Yeah, basically.
So apparently, I kind of thought it was them, but I wasn't 100% sure. But Disenchanted Voice over here, we were heading because we went to Buffalo Wild Wings for dinner. So we were,
I don't know. I think he's got kind of a magical voice.
I
Oh, you
think
meant
he should be-
disembodied voice. Okay, sorry.
I think if he keeps interrupting him, he might be a disemboweled voice.
He's the
we
lead singer of your
we
new
got
favorite
some-
band.
We got some pretty decent news for him today. So, but so yeah, so we were driving. That's the other thing I gotta say. So we were driving towards Buffalo Wild Wings, and we're heading down Grant, heading for the stadium, basically heading down to Hiawatha to cut over to get on 690. And we're at a stoplight, and sure enough, their car pulls out and turns in front of us. So I thought it was them at first, but he says that he thinks it was them too. So, but yeah, I don't know. I just was like, yeah, that's typical of people these days. You're in the wrong, but you yell at me for being in the right. So
Well, I mean, maybe they were hoping for a viral moment that,
I think
Right.
I very well think
Yeah.
they might have. I think that's where they were hoping for something like that or whatever. But I was just like, like I said, I was talking about it like after, and I was like, well, I could have just gotten out of my car and gone to my trunk and got my golf clubs out, but Bryce was
Careful
like,
with
"No."
those 3 irons.
That would have been too far.
Yeah. So, but I didn't. I just sat in my car and I
See-
was
see,
trying to
Corbs-
be the bigger man.
Corbs, the older I get, the more I just don't give a shit. I would have done like the Forrest Gump wave. I've been like, I'm like, hey, asshole.
Yeah,
Remember
I
me?
just was like, I was so fed up with that. I was like, really? You don't even bother to touch your brakes. You pull out in front of me. I honk my horn at you, or as somebody says, I laid on my horn. Because, no offense, if you pull out in front of me like that, I'm gonna honk my horn at you.
Yep.
So I may lay on the horn a little longer than maybe I should, but you're in the wrong. It's just that's what young adults these days think, is they don't do anything wrong. So, but other than that, tonight we got an email. My son, our voiceover here, he got his working papers. He's 15. So we finally got his working papers, and he wants to work for Big Don.
Oh, the golf place.
Golf, yeah. So we emailed them a while back before he got his working papers and said, look, well, he'll have his working papers by this time. So we just want to know if it's okay if you guys are hiring. They got back and said, well, we're not going to do any hiring until May, beginning of May. We'll reach out to you. So we emailed them just before I left. I think it was that, he'd gotten his working papers. We wanted to know if, he could get an application and all that stuff. So they sent him all the stuff. We filled it out, sent it back to him. And tonight they actually sent him an
I
email.
want to make this clear. It wasn't tonight. It was yesterday. I just didn't
Okay.
check.
Whatever. It was tonight for the story.
Right.
So they emailed and wanted to know when he was available for an interview. So we're hoping for Saturday morning for him to go and have an interview
Awesome.
with us. So hopefully we find out in the next day or two when when it's convenient for them, and then hopefully he'll have a interview on Saturday morning. So
Very cool.
yeah, so
Hey,
Good
Corbs,
luck to that person.
yeah, man.
how does it feel to have an invisible fact checker?
Let me write that down.
It's like you're talking to the wind there, Corbs. It's like, who are you talking to?
Oh, he keeps like popping in over here. I got 2 of them today, so
There's 2 of him. Is that what you said?
there's 2 people here.
Ah,
The way you're
Well-
communicating, did you ever see the movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Corbs? It's like your Bill Hader's character when he's talking to Jason Segel. It's like, let him go have fun. He's just looking around the whole time.
Well, I mean, we have room for extra voices since we're missing one this week. Now,
mhm.
Paul, I don't know if you know where Kevin is. I heard that, he was driving down to the city to support George Santos outside the courthouse or something.
Yeah, I believe that's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all I know is it was something very, very important. Very, very, very important. Very important. That's what I got.
I
Which
guess
Gonna
means,
take Geek
they
Pod on the
may or
road,
may
though?
not have gone to the same school or something.
I mean, the time frame's probably right?
He's trying to save Emily.
Mumbly?
Mhm.
What?
She's trying to
Mumbly.
save Emily.
Right? I think that ship has sailed.
That's true. That's all this.
I mean, has anyone actually seen her in months?
No.
Who?
I mean, there might be that proof of life photo. That was good, Jack. I really don't have anything for what's got me geeked either. It's been busy. We did another one of our trips south last week, and those trips I'm not allowed to discuss on air. The illegitimate kids and all that. So that kind of took up most of my time, and then this whole job thing. And when certain people screw up their job and it makes my job harder.
Been there.
You know,
Mhm.
he's not even here to answer for it.
Oh damn.
But I guess I can go into my tweaked story that I texted you guys about the other night. When all of a sudden I was taking Kylie to get a new bike helmet, and on the way my alternator shit the bed, and I tested our theory about Stewart's. Did any of you guys happen to go to Stewart's that night and see if my Jeep was parked out in front of any of the other ones? No?
Dude,
No.
that only works inside the store, not
Couldn't make it that
outside.
far. I made it
Couldn't get it-
almost all the way
couldn't
into
get
a
it in the
parking
door?
space.
I mean, just think about it. If it worked outside the store, I'd get out of my car and I don't know what fucking place I'm in. I could take a wrong turn. There might not even be a road where I leave the parking lot. That's just not safe.
Right. Now, the best part that I didn't tell you guys about is I went inside. I told Kylie, I said, just wait here a second. I went inside and talked to the girl working behind the counter. I said, hey, listen, my car broke down literally as I was pulling into the parking space. I've got AAA coming, just giving you a heads up on why this thing's here. She's like, oh, it's fine. No, nobody's gonna mess with your car. Nobody wants that shit.
Ass. What the hell?
I was like,
man?
all right, cool, thanks.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's great.
Then I proceeded to make Kylie walk home with me because it's like less than a mile from our house.
How'd that go?
Oh my gosh, she was so mad, and she was TikToking the whole way. I heard her over there mumbling to her phone. She's recording herself, and then it's like raining a little bit, and my dad's making me walk home, and then she's panning it around.
Watch, knowing her luck, she has like over 2,000 views for that one little tidbit.
Right, that just blew up. Yeah.
She's as
What
known
did
as the kid has a bad relationship with parents, so they make her walk home.
What did she expect you to do?
Well, Kristen
Carry
did.
her?
No, Kristen did volunteer to come pick us up, and I told
Oh,
Kristen no,
okay.
and she knew that. She was just like, so. But let's keep this thing moving. Guys, what are you playing? Anything?
I am.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So I broke down last week, and I finally picked up Sniper Elite 5.
Nice.
Yeah. So I picked that up. It was on sale at Walmart. Normally it's going for $60. I got it for basically half price. So
Awesome.
Yeah, so I just started playing it. It's graphics are a little better than 4. Like I said, just started it, but you're the first mission you're at D-Day, but you're ahead of
cool.
D-Day.
Yeah.
So you're there. You're at the D-Day for sure in France. So with the Germans and all that stuff, and Normandy and all that stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So like I said, I just started. Let's see, I installed it on Monday night on my 4. So I played for like a half hour then. Only played for like 10 minutes last night, but I played for about 20 minutes today. So it's a little difficult, a little more difficult. You can set it to the easy mode, but it's I'm playing the next one up from that. So, but it's pretty cool. So hopefully I'll have some more details in the coming, maybe next Wednesday or whatever. So
Outstanding.
So yeah, that was pretty nice. Pretty nice. So been doing that and playing baseball. I told you guys I got 2023 for my birthday.
Yes.
So that's
Don't show.
that's just normal baseball stuff. I mean, it's not really a big deal, but I've wanted Sniper Elite since it came out. So I've been looking, finally got it for a decent price. So I went ahead and ordered it and came on Saturday.
Nice.
But I had shit going on all weekend. So, golfing and
yeah.
And had a birthday party. I'll send you guys. Paul, I sent you the picture, but I will send you guys, Jack and Hugh and Kevin, the picture of the cake where I was at the party I was at. You guys will appreciate it. So I'll send it to you in a minute here.
Nice.
Actually, I think I have it queued up. So
perfect.
you guys will like this.
I was impressed.
You didn't save us any cake, Corbs?
I didn't get any cake.
Bruh? Oh,
Fresh out of
fuck.
cake.
Just go take some from Emily. Jesus, leave Corbs alone.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
there's the cake.
just send it to you guys. So I don't know if you guys got it.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
yeah.
Paul, you'll have it for a second time. So
That's all right.
Wow, that's beautiful. Holy
and
shit.
those, by the way, those are real beers. They're not part of the cake. They're real beers.
Wow.
Well, that's just cheating. They didn't have to fill those spots with cake.
So, and I found out who did the cake. It was Biscotti's.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yep.
Now, when he sent it to me, I didn't even know it was a cake. I thought it was just a thing full of beer, and then he's like, "Yeah, that's the cake." I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, because I mentioned to Paul that we would do that for his birthday party this year.
I can dig it.
A little bit of buds in there or whatever.
The beers, not the
buds.
Yeah, don't go there.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
You?
other than playing with my cat, she's giving me a look right now. I beat Elden Ring.
Nice.
Finally, I stopped playing it for a few weeks and started playing Halo Reach. Honestly, and I haven't admitted this to anyone because I was a little scared because it's been a super, super challenging game. And I just read that the end bosses were a huge, huge challenge. And I've been hurt so badly by this game already. I'm just like, I can't mentally take it. So I had to like go off and just shoot some easy shit for a little while. Finally decided I want to buckle down and finish it. Fantastic. I mean, from start to finish. Paul, as much as I'd love you to play this game, I don't think that you have the time to invest in it to actually get that far. Get
I
to
would
the
agree.
end of the game.
Yeah.
It's too much. But holy crap, was it a good game? And wow, I don't think I'll ever have a game experience like that again. Something that totally ended up being something completely different than I expected. A year after it came out, after I'd read tons of stuff about it, and it was totally different than I thought. And even though it was challenging, it was engaging and it was powerful.
Nice. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I've heard a lot of really good things about it. So
yeah. Other than that, right now I'm just trying to fix the emulators on my Steam Deck. My emulators were all fucked up, so I just deleted them all and I'm starting over from scratch again. Because I realized something, I'm going to be going on some vacations this summer, and I want to bring my Steam Deck with me. I used to bring my PS Vita with me, even though, maybe I never take it out of the bag. I realized when I travel, and I'm like this in regular life, like we go to the store, I always have a couple extra batteries and a bottle of liquid for my vape. I have a backup vape in my glove box that lives there. When I go somewhere else, I usually have 2 backups. And I realize I have backups for everything, backups for cords, backups for it's one of those things. I always have to be prepared. I expect things to go wrong. So I realized the reason that I suddenly wanted to do this before the summer starts and all the vacations start is I expect at any point, if the world's going to go to shit and I'm going to be trapped somewhere, I need to have all my favorite games with me. I need to have backups to all the things that are really important. I carry around an Amazon Kindle, that one of the old styles that hold the charge for like fucking 6 months. And along with some books I haven't read on it that I may never get around to reading, I also have guides about, how to rebuild civilization, like farming, building, things like that. It's just one of those, if shit happens and I don't have the internet, no one has the internet, and I'm not home, I don't have any of my shit, I always make sure that I have that information. It's fucking crazy. It's like I'm not a prepper, but maybe a little bit. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like if we go to Massachusetts and, fucking asteroids hit the earth and, nobody's getting back in New York anytime soon, I'm going to be okay because I've got all the information to do shit and I've got all my favorite stuff. So
Perfect.
I'm a little crazy, aren't I?
Little.
Yeah,
It's
just
okay.
a little bit. Yeah.
That's all right.
Jack, are you playing anything?
Nothing.
No. All right.
The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
All right. I am dabbling with another game concurrently with Midnight Suns, which also, by the time this episode drops, their final DLC will have debuted, called Bloodstorm, which introduces Storm from the X-Men into the game. Looking forward to that one. Finish off the DLC storyline. It's been actually as good, if not better, than the main storyline in that game. It's been really cool. But the other one that I've recently downloaded, it's because it's free to download for PlayStation, is Neverwinter. It is a Dungeons and Dragons game. It's made for PS4, Windows, and I think Xbox also had it. It came out in 2016, but I just discovered this for some reason. I stumbled across it, and it's basically World of Warcraft, like style MMO, just wrapped in the Dungeons and Dragons lore. It's pretty cool. I definitely like the attention to detail they've done, and they keep doing free updates to it. And it's pay to play. Like if you want to be the absolute best, there's all sorts of stuff you can buy in their online store, but you can play the whole game for free. And they've been doing the newest update is Menzo Baronzon, which if you haven't read any of the R.A. Salvatore,
Gesundheit.
yeah, just excuse me. That's the setting for R.A. Salvatore's whole Dark Elf series of books. I can't even say trilogy because I think it's like 10 trilogies. I think there's been like 33 books all about this one character called Drizzt, and he's like one of the most like famous Dungeons and Dragons characters in lore.
Was he in Dragonlance?
I don't believe so, because that's a whole different world of Dungeons and Dragons. I could be wrong. I don't know if they ever did any crossover.
The name sounds familiar, and the only D&D books I ever read were the Dragonlance books.
Okay, I don't know, because these were all from like late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
It started and went through. These are all Forgotten Realms ones, which is, I guess, the main Dungeons and Dragons now. The world of Faerun, whereas Dragonlance takes place in Kryn, Krynn.
Man, you've really dived into this, haven't you?
For reasons which we've discussed off mic, and we'll keep it that way for right now.
Jesus Christ, dude! What D&D related thing could you have to talk about off mic?
Something else
for real.
Do we need a cause for help for you?
Oh no!
We have these special D&D sessions, and we don't call her the game master. She's the dildo master.
You sure it's a she and not a he?
Not in my world.
It is a world of make believe.
Exactly.
But anyway, it's like Corbs, like with your game. I'm literally maybe 40 minutes into it. And it seems pretty fun so far, but it reminds me so much of World of Warcraft. There's no like the Dungeons and Dragons online that I'm also playing, juggling. That one gives you the whole feel that you're playing Dungeons and Dragons. Like when you do attacks and that, it'll come across the screen like what your roles were and all that, like you're actually playing Dungeons and Dragons. Whereas this is just you're button mashing and you've got your different attacks and all that. And it's a video game version of it, definitely. So that's all I got. And this is normally what?
No, I was just doing a War of Warcraft, saying when the guys were like, "We're complete." When you play the old computer game, that's all.
Okay,
But go ahead.
Warcraft. All right, and now this is where we would typically throw it to Kevin and his tabletop review, but Kevin here. So I think we're just gonna throw it to break, and we'll come back with the news. Stick with us, guys.
Hi, this is Craig Palmer. If you ever aspire to be a wrestler, come on down to Upstate Wrestling Entertainment, located at 1121 Glenwood Avenue in Niles, New York. We're open every Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. Come on down and join us. See you then.
Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a key back issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore. Located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking, Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics.
Now, before you realize that your wife referring to what was clearly a quarter of someone's hair in a Walmart parking lot as TumbleWeave is better than any joke you're going to write this week, here's the news. First up, have it no way. McDonald's had their first quarter earnings call recently, and something astounding was brought to life. One of the participants spoke about the future of the McDonald's app. He stated he loves the McChicken sandwich and orders it all the time. And because of this, he should never, ever get a discount offer on that sandwich in his app. This in a conversation about personalizing the app to the customer and delivering value, apparently, to the company. So he is basically saying that the app needs to be sophisticated enough to never offer you a deal on something you are likely to pay full price for because you will order it anyway. They have engineers now devoted to making sure you never get a deal on your most ordered items. This guy deserves to have Santa take a shit in his stocking this year. In fact, I hope Santa shits your entire house, Ian, whatever your name is. I hope he loads up on oatmeal cookies and whole milk for days and lets loose a torrent of excrement that takes until Easter to kill the scent. I hope you have to chainsaw your living room off the fucking house and burn it rather than even try to clean up the mess. And we're only starting to get even there. Next up, here we go again. The Writers Guild of America is now on strike. Negotiations broke down between the union and media companies last week. One of the big sticking points is how writers are compensated now that streaming has changed the rules of television. Apparently, the advent of streaming has allowed these companies to pay writers much less since there aren't really any rules about how it works. The first effects were late-night talk shows shutting down. From The Tonight Show to Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, all of the shows that produce content in real time are now shut down. In addition, many regular shows that didn't have all their scripts for the season written have now shut down. The last time this happened, it lasted 100 days and cost Hollywood over $2 billion. This time, it's affecting more folks, as places like Georgia that have become major players for filming are now at a standstill. Those local economies will be hit the hardest and are far less able to weather the strike as places like Hollywood and New York City. So what does this mean? Shortened seasons, a big gap in seasons is likely, and if it goes on too long, more reality TV. Last time, reality TV was still sort of a novelty, but now we have entire networks built around it. Is it even fucking possible to have more reality TV? If this goes on too long, primetime TV will just be podcasts. And if it's profitable, a big part of the market will remain that way when an agreement is reached. Seriously, don't fuck with the writers. Give them what they want. While it would be awesome to have GeekPod go primetime, it would be only a matter of time before we end up having to do the show naked in a jungle or have a camera follow us all the time. Can you imagine how fucking boring that would be? This week on GeekPod, we see Jack's girlfriend watching him eat for 42 minutes, or watching Paul on the ground unconscious again until his wife finally realizes she hasn't seen him in 4 days and thinks to check on him. And if one of us gets eliminated, what does that even mean? If you don't let us have our TV, we might rise up and try to fix the injustices in the world, and you can't have that. And finally, sounds about right. Far right, well, let's call them what they are, far right hate group, Moms for Liberty, have been in the news lately. They began as what they call a parents' rights group, and we all agree parents' rights are important. No reasonable person should be against parents having rights. The issues have been the members' constant harassment of their targets, including death threats and camping outside of their houses causing trouble. Now, let's step back for a moment and pretend that all their mask mandate, ban book, and grooming accusations aren't really stemming from a place of hate toward the left, the LGBTQ+, and educators. Maybe this began with real concern over parents having a say in what their kids are exposed to. I'm a parent. I make sure I understand what my kids are learning about. If, for instance, Moms for Liberty came to her school and started teaching some made-up bullshit like, say Christianity, I'd be furious. I would go to the school board and demand answers. I wouldn't show up at the school board meeting and call them all pedophiles. I would schedule a meeting with their teachers, not show up outside their house with a mob and harass their kids and neighbors. And I certainly wouldn't demand that books that go against science and history, like the Bible, be removed or banned. Just move them to the fiction section. The point is, if these moms want change, this is not how you do it. You can't brute force your dying bigoted values on a new generation. You can teach them on Sunday and get maybe a few hundred more years out of your fairy tale, but the jig is up. Should we make sure porn is not in our school libraries? Of course. Should we make sure rogue teachers aren't going off curriculum and teaching things that are inappropriate? Sure, that makes sense. Through the proper channels. All this yelling and mob mentality brings another cultural touchstone to mind. Which brings us to the other funniest thing I've heard this week that I didn't write. A few days ago, a user on Reddit appropriately dubbed Moms for Liberty as, wait for it, Planned Karenhood. Genius. They are so good, they should be on strike right now. And that's the news, kids. Now remember, if you ever feel like you're stupid, and we all do sometimes, you can always have one thing you can hold on to for hope. One thing that makes you feel like I'm a good person. I'm a smart person. You never stood up in a House committee meeting and claimed the lack of tax raises during the last ice age proves climate change is a hoax, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I swear, that woman sometimes speaks in Averyism. I'm imagining her next public address being like, people of Georgia, old lady bubbles. Jesus was falling off the soapy thing. She's got mittens for skin. You won't eat sheets of plastic. It's lid mouthfish. Amen. And then she ends with a 5-syllable fart. Paul?
In other news, the average person spends 6 months of their life at red lights. Back to you, Corbs.
Red lights. 6 months.
Yield signs? I don't.
Is it just red lights or is it like stop signs?
I don't know. It says red lights.
Are you laying on the
Sorry,
horn there,
timing.
Corbs?
I don't have a
timing.
disembodied fact checker.
I'm gonna start timing it. I'll let you know.
All right.
Check back in 6 months.
Yep. Actually, you got to be a year because they said it was 6 months. So if you go 6 months, it'll be 3 months check. Don't forget that.
All right, so May 10th, 2024, Corbs will be asking.
All right, sports. That's it. That's all I got.
Done.
Hold on. Alexa, on May 10th, 2024, remind me to ask Corbs about red lights.
And fart.
I actually do have to fucking time it.
5 p.m.
That's while he'll be writing his bit.
I mean, not much going on sports wise. Basketball. Quickly run through the basketball. You got the Heat and the Knicks. Miami's up 3-1. Lakers Warriors, probably one of the better series that you would think. The Lakers up 3-1. Lakers weren't supposed to even be in the playoffs this year. They're already they're probably going to be in the conference finals. Boston and the Sixers. Philly's up 3-2 there. And the Nuggets and the Suns. Denver's up 3-2. Suns are the best team, supposedly the best team in the league. But they're without their point guard. Chris Paul got hurt a couple games ago. Again, don't really give a shit. Haven't really watched. Same thing with hockey. Got the Leafs and the Panthers. Florida's up 3-0 over the Leafs, which is kind of a surprise. Toronto had one of the better teams in the league. Best team in the league out in the first round. That was the Boston Bruins. They had the President's Cup winner, which is the most points in the NHL for the season. They had the most wins of any team in any season this year, and they lost in 7 games in the first round. Goes to show that
Any given Sunday.
Well, it's not even that. If you go and look and you do a little bit of research, the President's Cup trophy winner in the NHL, 85% of the times doesn't get out of the first round, or they don't make it to the Stanley Cup. So even if you're the best team in the league, sometimes you just don't play well in the playoffs. So you got Vegas and Edmonton. Vegas is up 2-1. You got the Devils and Hurricanes. Their Hurricanes are up 3-1, and the only one that's actually anywhere close is Seattle and Dallas. They're tied 2-2. Seattle is the new kid on the block. They're their second or third season in the NHL this year, and they're already in the playoffs. And they got a pretty decent team. So we'll go baseball now. Quickly, baseball. White Sox suck. Surprise team of the season so far is the Pirates. They're in first place in the Central. They were picked to finish near the bottom of the entire league. So they're the surprise team right now. And then golf. Tiger Woods is out of the PGA Championship, which is next weekend. He had ankle surgery in April. My friend had the same surgery on both of his ankles, different times, but had both surgeries, ankle fusion surgery. And it was like 3 months before he was able to do anything. He was in a walking boot for like 6 weeks. So for them to say that, a month ago, they thought he'd be at the PGA Championship playing, whoever's saying that is an idiot, I guess is the correct terminology. Because that surgery it's surgery, and it's definitely he's going to be out for a while. I'd be surprised if he played golf the rest of the year. That's the kind of surgery they're talking about. He won't go to the British Open, which is obviously overseas. Maybe play in the U.S. Open, but I doubt it. I don't think he plays the rest of the year. So myself, I played golf last weekend. Didn't play golf 2 weekends ago because it rained from pretty much Friday morning until Thursday afternoon, I think. Friday, Wednesday night, whatever it was. I mean, it literally rained every day. So when we went to the golf, I played twice I played Saturday and Sunday. Both days, the course there was standing water everywhere. It was a mess. So, but I was there 2 nights ago for Cornhole. And they finally got a chance to cut the fairways and stuff like that. And I spoke to his opt. The course looks like it's getting in better shape. Giving him a nice plug for that. They did a great job. They did even good job getting it ready to play last weekend when it was wet. It's tough to maintain the course when it's wet, but the greens were cut, stuff like that. So cornhole was pretty fun. This last weekend there was 6 teams as opposed to 4 teams 2 weeks before that we played. So we're hoping to get a couple more teams. So and have kind of like a league type of thing. But I think we might just do kind of a tournament style for a couple weeks. Everybody throws in like $10 or whatever, and the winner takes all or whatnot. But so it was a pretty good time on Monday night. So and they'll do one again in the fall. So if you guys want to play, or if you think you might want to play, let me know and I can get some more information for you guys and whatnot. So it's a good time. I mean, I like playing cornhole. It's not very athletic. You don't have to be super athletic. You just kind of have to throw a bag into a hole from 24 feet away. So, right.
Do you have any tips on how to not, laugh the entire time
No,
and make immature jokes?
no, I do that the entire time.
Yeah.
So
My best Beavis impression.
I'm Cornholio.
I've done that. Don't feel bad. I've done that. I've done that at the American Legion in East Syracuse. So you do it around veterans. It's a little different.
I have TP for my bunghole.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's other than that, just the other thing that for me is next Friday I'll be in Rochester for the PGA Championship.
Nice.
So we got tickets over a year ago. So we're and we got tickets for all day there. So we don't have to travel 13 hours to go there either. So we're gonna go up on Friday afternoon and hang out for the day. So get to see a bunch of the players and whatnot. Unfortunately, not gonna get to see Tiger because he's not gonna be there.
Right.
Why the fuck are they holding it in Rochester? Do they want to get all their golf clubs stolen?
No, this golf course is amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
this golf course they're playing at. This golf course they're playing at has held. They did the PGA Championship. They've had the Ryder Cup there.
So it's like the one good thing in Rochester?
Yeah, pretty much.
and Bill Gray's Burgers. That's a good
And
burger.
Intergalacticon, which will be appearing.
If you
at.
can make it to that restaurant without getting bumped. Yeah, there's a great place up there. Just run.
So that's it for sports.
Outstanding. Well, then let's keep it moving right along.
Well, Paul, don't you want to bring up Backlash?
I
Wrestling.
didn't know if we want to do that or not. Yeah, we can bring up some wrestling. We're moving it right along to wrestling. That's where I was going with that, guys.
Yeah.
Sure.
I wanted to get your opinion because, we didn't get together for this pay-per-view. And you had made the comment, well, at least it's not an important one. That ended up being a really solid show. Like, way
It was
better
a good
than-
show. Yeah.
If no other show this year topped it, I wouldn't be shocked.
And I think a lot of that has to do with how fucking electric that crowd was.
Oh,
That was, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like when you looked at that lineup on paper, it was meh. But the way everything came together, it was fucking great. And now I pointed out to you something really weird that happened literally to start the show off. Because the crowd almost immediately turned on Bianca Belair and was just all about Io Sky.
yeah. I
Didn't
don't
see
even-
it coming, didn't know why it happened. Still don't know why.
Will it continue? I mean,
Right.
I love it when the crowd actually makes a change to a character. It doesn't happen that often. I mean, usually it's like, if the crowd's down on you, well, get rid of them and we'll get somebody else. But you can use that, to kind of change a character. I wouldn't have
Right.
ever thought she would do a heel turn, but
I mean, it's let her do it. Let's freshen up the character. The San Juan street fight was absolutely bonkers and lights out. That was a phenomenal match.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this question: what's the difference between that and just a regular old street fight?
They
because
always just
were
add
in
wherever
San
it is.
Juan.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. I didn't know if it was like like your homeboys come in from.
It took me a while to figure it out too. It's just to give it a catchy name.
Eddie Guerrero come rolling in or whatever or something. I mean, if Eddie came in, it'd be a different story because that'd be a pretty good trick.
It's funny you say that because we had a lot of faces show up there for that.
Yeah.
Savio Vega, all of the
Carlito.
LWO, Carlito, which apparently the brass were impressed with him. They said he's matured a lot. So the door is open for him right now, from what I saw. But yeah, like end to end, that was a great show.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is like the match that I cared about the least was the one with the tag champs and the Usos. I mean, that was just like, that was a great match, and that's usually the headliner.
Mhm.
But everything else around it was so good that actually paled in comparison.
It did.
And I want to get your take, because a lot of people are pissed off about the finish to the Cody Rhodes Brock Lesnar fight, and I have very strong feelings about that, and I'm curious as to what yours are.
I don't think there's any possible way that you could have had a finish to that match with Cody winning other than how they did that with basically a cheap roll-up, because you have to keep Brock Lesnar dominant. Like, he has to continue to be the monster, especially after what we saw Monday night.
Here's the thing. It wasn't a cheap roll-up. He rolled him up while he had him in his submission hold.
Yes.
Okay? That's not... this isn't the same as him just, like, reaching up, pulling him down, and, like, getting on top of him.
Just rolling the small package. Yeah.
He did it while Brock had him in a hold, which may have made it more difficult for him to even realize what was happening. I thought it was a stroke of genius, because you're right. How else can that end? Brock's not going to let Cody beat him clean.
Right.
And you need to maintain, him being, the beast and all that. I thought it was fucking brilliant. When that happened out of nowhere, I was like, holy shit, that's perfect. Because we knew Cody had to win that.
Yes.
It was make or break. And the whole time, leading up to this, I'm like, I know he has to win it, because that would be a momentum killer right there, losing 2 in a row like that.
Yeah.
But how are they going to do it? How is he going to beat Brock Lesnar in a believable way? And it was perfect. I never would have seen that coming. So why are people so mad about that? I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know if they were mad at that like off the outset, or now just reflecting on the new screw job from Monday night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you mean with Brock. I mean, I don't care if he gets. He needed to be pulled out of the new title picture anyway. He can't be the first person to wear that title,
because they expected it. Everyone expected that that's where it was. That was his title to take.
Yeah, and because we know that he came back specifically for the title that's around Roman's waist, and people are trying to say, well, this isn't a consolation prize. Well, if Cody's the first person to hold it, it definitely is a consolation prize. It needs to be. It needs some history. Down the road, he can win it, and then it'll mean something. But it wouldn't have been anything if he was there.
I agree.
What do you think? There's the whole controversy. People insisting Brock bladed, even though it doesn't look like it to me.
I would have thought so. Like, I thought, because that's where you get the shocker in that match. But when they did the close up on his face Monday night, and you can see that mess of freaking stitches there. That was more than him just doing a quick slice. Like, I don't know.
The close, I've seen so many different angles of this. He hit the turnbuckle. He absolutely hit it. And as his head came away, you could see the start of the blood. Now, people are saying that he got down and then he went like this, and that's when he bladed himself. He was split open. You can see it. I caught it in the broadcast of the show, and then I was able to watch it. People slowed it down and fast forwarded. It's pretty goddamn clear to me that he purposely smashed his head into the turnbuckle to get blood, or maybe he did that and was going to blade himself, but was like, "Oh shit, I
don't need to."
Yeah. Oh,
but his face was a mess Monday night. Like, a black eye. Like the stitches in the middle, and then it looks like there's even another cut under his nose and his mustache. Yeah. Like, I mean, the other thing Monday night that he proved is that man does not need to be near a microphone ever.
Well, I thought that too, but he's usually much better on it. That was just fucking weird.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if he stroked out in the middle of it or what, but it was just awful.
In the end of it, who's the coward now? Could it be the guy that
Just
snuck up behind
on
you?
the guy.
I mean, that didn't make any sense.
The thing I focused on most when he had him in the chin lock there and he was screaming at him was that big like bubble of drool on his lip, and I kept watching it going, that's going in Cody's face. It's gonna go right in Cody's face. It's going. But no, it did not. He sucked it back in. So Madison was riding such a high after the pay-per-view, and then to see that happen on Monday night,
Oh, I'm sure.
she was just wrecked again. No. But can we all agree that basically this new title is Seth Rollins is to take at this point?
I think he deserves it. I think that for him it wouldn't be a consolation, the same way it would be for Cody.
Right.
So I think Seth's. I guess here's my thing though. If Seth gets it, we know Cody wants the title that's on Roman's waist. We know that's going to happen eventually. But is he going to have to get the title before that happens, or is he just going to do this on Raw until maybe Royal Rumble when he can,
Get
earn a shot at a different title? So that means that we could have Cody and Rollins again for the title. I mean, I'm not saying I don't want to see that, but I mean, let's face it, Cody had, if we take out Monday and Friday night matches out and house shows, because none of that really counts. It's what happens at pay-per-views.
Right.
Cody wrestled 3 matches and then took the rest of the year off, and now he's come back and had 3. So half of his big matches were already against Seth Rollins. I'd like to see him compete against other people on the larger stages.
I agree. Yeah.
I just don't know how you keep. I mean, he can't feud with Lesnar for the rest of the year. I don't see how you stop that match from happening.
Right. And the problem is it makes it almost, you feel like it's a foregone conclusion because consecutively he beat Seth 3 times in a row. Like, it's storyline wise, he's got his number. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was when Seth was a bad guy.
But I don't know. People were still singing a song back then too. But
this is true.
I guess I'd hate to see Seth lose a title that he richly deserves to Cody just to further Cody's story. He's done enough to further Cody's story.
Yes.
I mean, Cody owes that man like his next born child. I mean, really. I mean, you take the biggest guy who gets the biggest reaction in the company, and you have him job for 3 pay-per-views in a row. I mean,
right.
Like, I know you're saying Seth Rollins for sure, but how close is AJ Styles to coming back from injury? That would be pretty cool.
Back.
See,
he's back.
He's back.
Yeah.
See, why don't you have him feud with Cody Rhodes then?
Well, no, because he's on a separate show.
Oh, he's on.
We had the culmination of the WWE draft, and AJ went to one show. He's on SmackDown. Cody's on Raw. AJ is in this tournament.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be one of the top 2 guys Friday night when it comes out. Like, I think it's going to be AJ against, I don't even remember who else was in the other tier because I don't pay that close attention to SmackDown.
Well, they did them, but we've
the SmackDown side, which makes no sense because this is a title on Raw. There shouldn't be any SmackDown guys. But
Agreed.
for whatever reason, we have to have the other half of it on SmackDown.
Also, why did we have 2 of the matches in one night? Why didn't they stretch it out more? I don't
know why they're rushing.
It's got to be done by a certain time. It's supposed to be the next pay-per-view.
Oh, that's also true.
Made.
But
That's
you got 3 weeks.
Though. Yeah, you have plenty of time because there's only. I mean, there was the triple. Was it triple threat?
2 triple threat matches.
Yeah, on each show. So there's basically on each show there's a total of 3 matches. The triple threat, and then whoever won those has a match, and then they move on to the final round. So it was literally 3 matches.
Yeah, it's going to be done this week.
Side.
Yeah, like Friday night, this tournament is over. So then you have what a week and a half to build this last match across brands when you're not supposed to.
Why do you need to build it?
You can't build it.
It's.
You cannot build it to begin with.
Yeah,
because they just established that we have separate brands. So,
but even without that, this doesn't need story to build. No. It's a tournament. They're all fighting for opportunity. Agreed. Yeah. What's the point of having a story there? You're wasting a story you could use later on.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about wrestling enough.
All right.
That went on way further than I expected. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, then, let's move it along to trivia time with Jack.
All right. So, well, let's see here. Paul, pick a number between 1 and 4.
3.
Okay. I look around and what I see is a bunch of losers is the
Guardians
category.
of the Galaxy. Okay.
What did Ego call Peter Quill's mother in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
I haven't watched this in a while. What did he call her? His
Hot
River
piece
Lily.
of 70s ass.
What'd you say?
His River Lily.
Yeah, you just pulled that out of your ass. That was good. Very good. All right.
Okay.
Hugh, 1, 2, or 4?
2.
When in Rome. In the lieu of toilet paper, what did ancient Romans use?
Small children.
No.
I don't know. Their hands?
I thought it was a hand too, but no.
What is it?
It's
A
Fig
wet
leaves.
sponge. A wet
Oh.
sponge. Yeah. All right.
I
Go
wouldn't
ahead.
want to have the job of rinsing those sponges out and putting them back in the bathroom stall.
The shit
No,
squeezers.
I wouldn't want that either. All right. 1 or 4. All right. 4. All right. What's new, pussycat? Why do cats use their tongue? Why do they have rough texture? Why are their tongues rough textures? I know. I'm trying to beat the clock here.
Why do cats have rough tongues?
I know somebody would know that question. I don't know. It's something to do with with feel or something like that, or I don't know.
Something
I have
like
a
that.
guess. It has to do with feel. I was going to say, is it to clean themselves?
Yeah, basically it's for grooming. And then this last question was actually sponsored by one of our listeners. So shout out to you. Thank you for your help. Kick up your Sundance shoes. What fashion fad was based in 1983 with Flashdance? So what fashion fad did come out in 1983 with the movie Flashdance?
Leggings.
Kind of, yeah, leg warmers.
Hey, Jack,
yeah.
it's not a shout out if you don't say the person's name.
Isn't it kind of obvious?
They know who they are when they listen. They know who they are.
I know who it is too.
All right, so basically what happened in history on May 10th, in 1877, President Rutherford B. Hayes came up with the first, Rutherford B. Hayes came up with the first, invented the first, I can't even talk tonight, brought the first telephone into the White House. He had the first telephone installed.
Nice.
In 1924, J. Edgar Hoover was appointed head of the FBI. And then in 1996, the movie Twister came out with Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton.
Fantastic movie, too.
It's a great one.
Love that movie.
It's on last weekend.
Ooh.
We got cows.
Exactly.
And
Back
the
to you,
ride at
Paul.
Universal was awesome, too.
That
There was a ride?
cow looks so bad now if you watch that movie.
I'm sure.
It's an unspecial effect at this point.
All right. Well, that's good. That's a good segue, Jack, because this week's weekly topic, boys, ready? You are the leading man. What movie are you starring in? Now, you can be specific on like what the film is, or you can just give me like a genre and your character type. And the boys are going to think about that and come back and let us all know. Stick with us, guys.
Hi, this is Craig Palmer. If you ever aspire to be a wrestler, come on down to Upstate Wrestling Entertainment, located at 1121 Glenwood Avenue in Niles, New York. We're open every Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. Come on down and join us. See you then.
Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a key back issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore. Located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking, Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics.
And that music means it's time for our weekly topic. Let me reiterate. You are the leading man in a movie. What movie are you starring in? Hit it, guys.
All right. Clearly, I'm going to pick a horror movie, and clearly, I'm going to pick some sort of zombie movie. Me at the beginning of a zombie apocalypse wouldn't be all that entertaining because I'm fat, but I do have lots of swords. So if I manage to survive, a couple things are obvious. I'm going to get skinny real quick because foods are going to become scarce. So if we fast forward to say Land of the Dead time, if we're talking, the original Night of the Living Dead series, we're basically, the dead pretty much have taken everything, but, humankind has cities and stuff like that. In that sort of a situation, if I survived, I'd probably be by myself because, my family would be dead. Everyone I know would be dead. I don't want to say it, people would think I'm roguish or something, but I'm not. I just, keep to myself because I probably wouldn't let people in because I can see that I would be guarded because people die. So why, if I lost my family and all that, I wouldn't let anybody else in. But I would certainly try to help people if I could. Just like, okay, good, you're all set. Leave me alone now. So
Right.
that would be the opinion people would have of me. But yeah, I'd probably stick to myself. And I don't know how good of a movie that would be. Of course, isn't that how they start? The guy that doesn't want to be bothered gets bothered. A cute kid shows up at your doorstep and says, "Zombies ate my family. Help me." Go away, kid. Help me. They don't go away. And by the end of the movie, it's like, okay, we're best friends. I'll be your daddy now. Wait, that came out wrong. That sounds wrong. But you know what I mean? That's what I'm getting at.
Hugh and the kid.
Right. That's what it's called.
Are you Santa?
No, go away.
All right.
That's our Geek Pod Productions present. Dude, that would be great. Zombie apocalypse. Kid insists the old guy that saves them in the woods is Santa Claus throughout the entire movie, irritating the shit out of him. And at the end, he finally puts on a Santa costume and plays Santa for the survivors in a small village or something.
There we go. Now we just need the company. Put it together.
Beard and the kid
Production
or something.
company.
I don't know.
Who's next?
Go ahead, Corbs. I see you something.
No. I mean, for me, it's going to be a sports movie, obviously. I don't know if it would be a baseball movie, probably something like Major League or something like that, where I would be, like the aging veteran, like Jake Taylor or something like that, or, trying to teach the young kids the game the right way type of thing, or a golf movie. I mean, I was thinking Tin Cup, but, that's not it. Maybe it's a little unknown movie called like Dead Solid Perfect with Randy Quaid. He's a golfer trying to make it to the U.S. Open type of thing. So that's kind of where I think I would be, is that, the AG veteran type person, or the guy that's the golf club pro someplace trying to make it to the one tournament that is open to anybody. I mean, I could go and play and make it to the U.S. Open. all you got to do is go to the qualifiers ahead of time and win one of the qualifiers or finish in the top. I think it's the top 2 at the qualifiers, and you get into play, type of thing. So that's it for me. I mean, so.
Oh, cool. So, Jack, tell us about your historical drama.
It's gonna be a drama, but it's not history. I'll give you a hint. Well said. So I'm gonna be in Castaway. Yeah, Castaway.
You're gonna remake Castaway. Outstanding.
So yeah, but honestly, at the end of it, because I know Helen Hunt remarried, so can't marry that girl. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just go back on the island and just live there. That's why, like, I can't get the girl I wanted. I'll finally fix up that like the tree and the rope. Probably, like he said he was gonna hang himself. I'm like, no, actually no. Wilson, like, I'll do Castaway because that was really cool how Tom Hanks did that, because he actually gained 50 pounds for that part, and then he lost the weight. They actually took 2 years to film it, so I think that'd be kind of cool. But at the end of the movie, because he's at the crossroads of life, he's like, do I go back and talk to that girl? And because she really saved my life with those wings on those FedEx packages. So I think I'll remake Castaway because it was a really well done movie, and I'll do it the right way this time.
Yeah, but if the girl says to you, "Hey, how about dinner?" You'd be like, "We don't do dinner. I do dinner."
Exactly. And then if that doesn't work, Hugh, I'm going back on the island.
There you go.
That's how the movie has to end, is Jack just decides that he's going back to the island. Like, literally gets off the plane, turns right back around, and gets back on the plane. All right. And this kind of work, this is basic, except for Jack's answer, that surprised me. This is kind of telling of all of our personalities, because I'm going to do the whole space opera comedy thing, and I have to be the Han Solo-ish Star-Lord kind of ne'er-do-well, roguish,
the dick
asshole.
You have to be the dick,
basically. Yes, the lovable dick.
No, that's just the dick.
Damn it. Yeah. So that's, and I really wish Kev would have been here, because I've been interested in what he would have said to this.
About you exclaiming lovable dick. Yeah, I'm sure he would have had a field day with that.
He would have had something with that for sure. But his answer to this question, unless he goes with what we think he should go with, and that's a remake of Magnum PI.
That's what I was gonna say. Any movie with Tom Selleck.
Dude, he would totally be a Star Wars character. Come on.
Okay, good point. He's going to be a Jedi somewhere.
He just looks like Magnum PI. I don't think like that's his spirit animal or anything.
No. I got him his wife though. So
I could see him redoing like Quigley Down Under or something like that.
Or he can do that really bad comedy Wild Hogs where he's on a motorcycle. Yeah.
3.5 Men.
3.5 Men, yes.
Or no, it's not 3 Men. It's 3 Men and a Baby.
Yes. It's getting weird now.
Oh, you want weird? Weird would be if one of us said Deliverance, but I'm not the one that gets anally raped.
The anally raper. All right, let's keep it moving. Guys, what are you watching?
I've got something great for this. I was so happy that Evil Dead Rise was available to rent yesterday. I didn't think that, it had its second weekend at the box office. It crosses 100 million, and suddenly it's available to rent. I was blown away. I don't know why they did that, but okay. We watched it Tuesday night. That movie was fucking fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, there's a reason it's doing so well at the box office. The last movie, the first reboot, requel, whatever, that was good. I thought that was really good as well. But this, very visceral. It was nice to get it out of the woods.
Yeah.
Show that the idea of the franchise can work outside the original setting, because while technically Army of Darkness does that, that's not really marketable franchise wise, because that was just fucking bonkers, and that's not something your average moviegoers are going to follow. That worked during the days of VHS, when we go, hey, that cover looks cool, and you watch the movie and then you get into it. This movie definitely could be a franchise. it opens in such a strange way where it shows completely unrelated characters. And then when all the shit happens with them, it says one day earlier and it's a completely different set of characters. And it does tie in at the end, but the entire time I'm like, what was up with that opening? And then it made perfect sense. But man, the special effects were great. The gore, the kills, the visceral stuff was top notch. Scare wise, I mean, nothing scares me, but I think your average person would say, yeah, that was a pretty scary movie. What they did with the Deadites, just how fucking evil and twisted and insane. Paul, do you like the Evil Dead movies?
I think the only one I've seen was Army of Darkness.
Okay.
So,
I mean, you're not going to get the same level. You're not getting the same level of comedy here,
right.
by any stretch of the imagination. It's mostly played straight, but it's played straight effectively.
Nice.
And man, I think we might be in for a couple sequels here.
Awesome. Good. Very cool. Who wants to go next? I know somebody's been watching something.
So actually, I'll admit, like I saw Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness this past weekend.
Nice.
That got shit on pretty hardcore, I thought, but I thought it was actually pretty damn good. A lot of jump scares. The multiverse was pretty good, but at the ending with that big cliffhanger with that third eye, it's like, what the fuck is that? That was just really weird. The 2003 NFL draft, that was pretty cool watching that, seeing who the Eagles picked up.
2003?
2023.
Okay.
NFL draft, that was pretty cool seeing. Like I was gonna mention it last weekend, but we watched that. That was pretty cool seeing what the Eagles did. I thought that was neat. Also watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That was so cool. And I did that.
Is he seriously ripping off Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman right now?
It's saving you on editing.
So it was just so cool that when Peter Quill went and that. So it was pretty cool. But also that scene where that was pretty cool. So, how's that for a spoiler for
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. I got you. That was the plan tonight.
Nice.
Paul, say something. Or Corbs.
Yeah, so I watched True Lies.
Oh, the
TV
series?
show.
The TV
Yeah.
series?
With Steve Howery and so that's actually pretty good.
I just saw a news article that it's been canceled leading up to the finale.
Sweet.
I wish I was joking, but I literally just saw it's the only reason I knew there was a TV series.
That's why it's canceled.
Right.
So it wasn't bad. I mean, even if it's canceled, it wasn't bad. So that and Fire Country is the other one that
Nice.
I've been watching. So that's I didn't watch last week's yet. So I'll go on Paramount and watch that probably tonight or Friday night or whatever, tomorrow night, Friday night, whatever. Catch up on that. That's just about done. I know that got renewed for a second season. So I like the character that's in it, the main character. He was actually in SEAL Team.
Yes. I think you told us about him before.
Yeah. So I know he's no longer in SEAL Team. His character was killed off in SEAL Team, so
he could be in Fire Country, probably.
Yeah, and apparently he helped he's helping produce it. He wrote it and stuff like that. So
nice.
That's a decent show. I like that one too. I did like True Lies. So sorry to see that it's going, but I know it's going because I mean not a lot of people have been watching it. I've been watching it on Paramount. So
now, is it any relation to the Schwarzenegger movie?
Yeah.
Is it? Nice.
He's Harry Tasker in the movie.
Okay, cool. So it's kind of like the modern version.
Yeah.
Got nice.
Yep, and then his wife, like in the movie, but in the movie at the end, she becomes an agent. This is like the first episode. He has to go to Paris or something like that. He takes his wife on the trip, and she gets in the middle of. They try to take him. Another agency tries to take him or whatever, and he has to fight his way out of it. That's how she finds out he's in the spy business, and then they rope her into it. So
As one does. Yes.
as one does, right?
Perfect. No, I only got to watch movies on the plane. So on the way down, I watched Megan. There's nothing frightening about that movie. Like
I think it's supposed to be unsettling.
I was more unsettled by the fact that we had too much turbulence on our plane and I didn't get snacks.
Extra important.
I was not impressed at all. But I did realize that it's tame enough that Kylie can watch it. She's been begging to watch it. And we were just like, I don't know, because we didn't see it. So, but on the way back, I watched Violent Night.
Nice.
That movie is so fucking over the top. Like, literally, I'm watching it. I'm like, this feels like it should have been a Saturday Night Live like parody trailer. Like, everything is so cranked up to like 15. It's fucking nuts. And it was fun. I laughed out loud multiple times on the plane. And I enjoyed that one more than Megan, but it's still kind of eye-rolly. But that's all I've gotten to watch other than WWE this week. So that's where we're at with that.
Okay.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
Cue the awkward silence.
Awkward silence. Hi, Jack. It's nugget time, I think.
I think it is. You know that thing inside of your head that keeps you from saying stuff you probably shouldn't? Yeah, mine's broke. Good night, everybody, and mega money, bitches.
This has been a GeekPod Network production.